Alright guys, today I'm going to talk to you about how to make a paper weaving. So this is an example of one that's been made. There's a few examples and you can see how the paper fits together. And this is something you will have to show me before you are approved to weave with yarn. So let's talk about paper weaving today. And you can make these some really cool works of art if you put some other paper on top of the paper weaving. You can see how it looks on the back there. And so those are some really nice examples. So weaving is our word of the day. And we're going to start with a few supplies. This larger piece of paper is from the Good Paper Box and Collage, and these are some of the paper strips that have been cut from old artworks that we're going to use to weave with. So the first thing that you are going to do is have your paper in front of you, up and down, and we are going to fold that paper right in half. So I use one hand to hold my paper still, make sure it doesn't come apart, and then I'm going to use my other hand to press it down and fold. Okay, so folded that paper right in half, and then I'm going to make sure that this top part is the part that opens, and I'm going to take just the top part and I'm going to fold that down a little bit so that you see the paper behind it. Okay, so just a little on this top part. I'm going to fold that down, and it doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm folding it down a little bit. Okay, so now I've got this little piece of paper here, and I can see the paper behind it. All right, so I made two folds. I folded it in half, and then I folded just that top piece down just a little. Okay, now I'm going to unfold it, and this line you can see has a crease. Where it was folded created a crease. Now this line, this crease is my stop line, okay? Whenever I'm cutting, I am going to stop at that crease. Okay, here we go. We're ready to cut. I'm gonna take my scissors, and I am gonna start in the bottom middle, right here, okay? And I'm gonna cut all the way up to my stop line. Nope, can't stop there. I'm tired. Nope, it's okay. Keep going. Am I there yet? Yeah, almost. Almost right there. I'm going to keep going. Nope. Don't go past the stop line. All right. So I have cut my line all the way up the middle, almost to the stop line. And I now have what looks like a pair of pants. All right. Now I'm going to cut these. So I've cut my paper in half. I've got halves here. Now I want fourths. So that means I am going to cut a line here and here. And that is going to create fourths in my paper. What that means is I have 4 equal sections. So I cut that one in half again. And I'm cutting this one in half again. And I go all the way up to my stop line. Now I have 4 equal sections. I have a pair of pants for my cat. Now we're going to divide it into eighths. So what that means is I'm going to make each of these sections cut into half again so that I have 8 sections total. So taking my scissors, I'm going to cut, stopping at my stop line, cut, stopping at my stop line, all right, so now I have, I guess, a pair of pants for an octopus because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 equal sections in my paper. So when I open it up, this is what it looks like. So this is called a loom, and a loom is what you weave on. These are called warp threads, because those are the ones that we're going to weave our weft threads into. So these are what's called wefts, okay? So a loom is what you weave on. The warp threads are what stays on the loom, what you weave into. And these are my weft threads, okay? So I can look at my piece, see which side I want up, and whenever I'm weaving, I'll turn it this way, what you'll do is imagine this is like a snake, and it's going over and under, weaving in and out of the grass, okay? So we're going to start by going over this first warp thread and then picking that next one up and going under it. And we're going to create a pattern of over, under, okay? So over, under, it goes over this one, under this one, over this one, under, over, under, and then I pull it through and I push it up to the top. Okay, so we've got my first one in, and it's created an over, under, or an AB pattern. Okay, now this is where it gets a little tricky. So for your next one, we cannot do the exact same thing, okay? And I'll show you why. If I do the same thing here as I just did, my weaving's not going to come out right. It's going to collapse. It's going to fall apart, because this, it might stay still right now, but when I hold my paper up, it's going to fall right in front of the other one, okay? So that means we have to change our pattern just a little bit. So we started with over. This means I am going to start with under. Okay, so I'm going to go under, over, under, over, under, over, under, over, creating that AB pattern. My snake has gone into the grass here, and there you can see how it's created the opposite pattern. And then you're just going to keep doing that, right? So now, then you would switch back and start over, under, until you have your whole paper woven through. All right, we're going to stop here today. And remember, you must complete a whole page filled up with weaving in order to get approved to do yarn next time.